Beneath the emerald hills of the Great Rift lay a valley alive with whispers, where rivers sparkled like silver threads and the wind carried secrets of old. In this valley lived Kima, a young woman unlike any other, fierce, beautiful, and bound not to people, but to her goats, whose hearts beat with hidden wisdom. What began as a quiet bond soon unfolded into a tale of wonder, where animals spoke, spirits blessed, and a girl's love changed a whole village forever.
Once upon a time in a lush valley, surrounded by the emerald hills of the Great Rift, there lived a young woman named Kima. The valley was a place of endless wonder, where the rivers glistened like silver threads under the morning sun, and the air carried the songs of hidden birds whose plumage flashed like jewels in the trees. The people of the valley had always spoken of the land as though it were alive, for it seemed to breathe with its own spirit, a pulse that could be felt in the rush of the streams, in the sway of the grasses, and in the gentle murmur of the wind that curled around the huts of the villagers at night. And in this valley, full of whispers and legends, Kima's name was known by all. Kima was not like the others in her village. She had been born under a night sky so full of stars that the elders whispered she had been marked by destiny itself. Her mother used to tell her that when she came into the world, a sudden hush had fallen over the forest, as if all creatures were waiting to greet her. Her father, who had been a hunter, would cradle her and say that she carried the fire of the valley in her spirit. But both her parents were taken from her when she was still young, claimed by a fever that swept through the land one harsh rainy season. Left in the care of her grandmother, Kima grew into a child of the wild, with no brothers or sisters to share her days. She learned to keep herself company, wandering through the tall grasses and the riverbanks, whispering to the earth and listening as though it spoke back. From an early age, she was drawn to the goats. The villagers owned many, for goats provided milk, meat, and hides. But while others saw them as mere animals, Kima saw them differently. To her, each goat had a face filled with expression, eyes that gleamed with secrets, and hearts that beat with untold stories. By the time she was 10, she had chosen her companions, Jambo, the wise billy goat whose beard looked like a waterfall of white, and Nyota, a lively young nanny with spots like scattered stars across her back. As she grew older, more goats seemed to gather around her, as though pulled by some unseen bond. Soon she had a small herd, and wherever Kima went, the goats followed, bells tinkling softly on their necks like music meant only for her. The villagers often gossiped about her strange closeness with the animals. Girls her age were busy learning the art of weaving, gathering with their mothers to prepare meals, or giggling in corners about the young men of the village. Kima, however, preferred the quiet of the hillsides, where she would sit among her goats, stroking their fur and listening to their soft bleats as though they were speaking to her. "Why does she not take a husband like the rest of us?" the women would whisper. "A girl with her beauty should have been married long ago." And beautiful she was, though not in the way the villagers usually praised. Kima had skin the color of bronze warmed by the sun, hair that fell in thick black curls down her back, and eyes as deep and bright as the valley streams. Yet her beauty was matched by an independence that frightened some and fascinated others. She was tall and strong, carrying herself with the unbending grace of a reed that will not break, no matter how fiercely the wind blows. But Kima had no desire for marriage. She felt no emptiness in her solitude, for she was never truly alone. Her goats were her family, her friends, her confidants. Jambo especially seemed to carry an ancient wisdom in his gaze. Sometimes, when she sat in the stillness of dusk, his amber eyes would meet hers, and she could swear that he understood her thoughts more clearly than any person ever could. Nyota, on the other hand, filled her life with joy and laughter, springing into the air with playful leaps, chasing butterflies until she tumbled in the grass. Each goat had its own quirks, Amani, the gentle one who never strayed far from Kima's side, Pendo, who loved to climb rocks and perch like a queen surveying her kingdom, and little Mosi, whose mischievous spirit kept the others on their hooves. It was a bright morning when the world shifted for Kima. The sky was painted with strokes of orange and pink, and the air was fresh with the scent of dew. She led her goats to a glimmering stream at the foot of the hills, a place she often visited. The water there was so clear that one could see the smooth pebbles glistening at the bottom, and the songs of the stream were soft and soothing, like a mother's lullaby. As the goats bent to drink, a sudden rustling stirred the thicket nearby. Kima straightened, her eyes narrowing. From the bushes emerged a figure unlike any she had ever seen, a woman cloaked in the mist of dawn, her form shimmering as though woven from light itself. Her hair flowed in silver waves, catching the glow of the rising sun, and her eyes were filled with the calm wisdom of countless years. "I am Nia, the guardian of the valley," the figure spoke, her voice a gentle breeze that seemed to carry the fragrance of flowers. "I have watched over you and your goats, Kima, and I have seen the purity of your heart. Few among humankind choose to love and honor the bond between humans and animals as you do." Kima fell to her knees, overwhelmed by the presence before her. Her voice trembled as she asked, "Why do you come to me, guardian?" Nia's smile was warm, her face radiant with kindness. "I bring you a gift, child of the valley. For your respect and devotion, I grant you the power to understand the voices of your goats, to hear their thoughts, and see the world through their eyes. With this gift, you will learn the wisdom they hold, the lessons of loyalty, joy, courage, and love that animals carry but humans too often forget." As Nia stretched out her hand, a warmth enveloped Kima, flowing through her veins like liquid fire. The world shimmered, colors deepening until every leaf and blade of grass seemed alive with brilliance. And then she heard it, the voices. At first, it was a rush of sound, like many rivers colliding, but soon it softened into distinct tones. Jambo's voice was deep and steady, like the earth itself. Nyota's was bright and quick, a playful song. Each goat had its own voice, its own way of speaking, and for the first time, Kima understood them. "Do not be afraid," Jambo said in a calm, rumbling tone. "This gift is true. You have always known us in your heart. Now you may hear us with your ears." Nyota bleated with delight, leaping high. "Kima, Kima, you can hear me. Now you'll know all my secrets." Kima